welcome to VHS Action Rewind. I'm Cologne.
You got your name wrong.
I'm Colombo.
Oh, I'm so happy. I feel like it's Christmas Day right now. I'm so glad you did that.
This is the worst day of my life. I'm Cologne, and I collect VHS tapes.
And I'm his wife, Kaylon, and I watch those tapes. Your world's favorite two people in the world, we're back. And this week, we watched a pretty good movie. Spoiler alert. Here's your moment. Here's your big moment.
It's my big moment. Made in Indonesia and re-edited and released in the U.S. starring Cynthia Rothrock, Angel of Fury.
I've got the sniffles because I've got COVID. I'm just kidding, I don't. I shouldn't joke about that. What an awful thing to joke about. Wow, I'm a huge piece of shit.
Yeah, people have died of that.
More like pandemic to me is
Yeah.
what I'm going to say. Thank you. No, it's because of allergies. Here in Missouri, it's a fucking nightmare. It's awful. Why don't we get started talking about Angel of Fury? Why don't you give us a little backstory behind it?
Okay. Honestly, there's not much information about this movie out there because it's super low budget. It was made in Indonesia. It was, I think, originally released in 1990. That's probably totally wrong. And then completely re-edited, redubbed. Everything in the entire movie is ADR. And released as Angel of Fury. Originally it was titled Triple Cross, I think.
Which is a cooler name.
It is a much cooler name and makes more sense with the movie. The original Triple Cross version was around 20 minutes longer, so there's a lot of missing stuff in the version that we saw.
You didn't tell me that. He always stays so quiet during the movies. I have a Band-Aid on. I know this is disgusting that I'm going to be wagging my finger the whole time with a fucking Band-Aid. My mom gave me this cutting thing from QVC, and I fucking the first time I used it, I sliced my finger off. There's no Wikipedia for it, which I was very upset about because I immediately loved it because Cynthia Rothrock, wowza.
She's cool.
And I just want to get this out of the way and we can move on from it. That dump truck is insane. Her butt is insane. I know that she's more than her big giant butt. She's amazing. She is like a human superhero, like a real life superhero. I mean, it's wild. Her backstory's fucking wild, but her butt is unbelievable. I stared at the whole movie. I was so excited.
Didn't you say that she won a bunch of martial arts competitions that were like all men?
Oh my gosh, yeah. Should I just pull up Wikipedia? Probably.
Why not?
I'm having a good time. Not.
Wikipedia, 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 Wikipedia.
Okay, so I'm just gonna read to you her martial arts career, like early career. It reads like it's not real. It reads like a movie. So she was a 5 times world champion in forms and weapons between 81 and 85. She took first place in forms 32 times and first place in weapons 12 times in her first 38 tournaments, including competing in men's forms 3 out of the 4 times as there was no women's division.
Wow.
So, Chuck Norris, eat your fucking heart out because she would whoop your ass and make you cry like a little bitch. She's probably like friends with Chuck Norris and is gonna somehow manage to see this and be like, I would never fight him, but I'll fight you. And then she's gonna come to my house and beat me up.
I would be honored to be beaten up by
Cynthia absolutely. I would welcome her into my home. Watching this movie, it's insane. She's so like fast and aggressive. Mm-hmm. She's like this little like Angel of Fury. It's wild to watch her. She's like bouncing off shit, running around, doing flips and kicks. I'm like, are you kidding me?
And the thing that I noticed too in this is that it does seem like she's holding back a little bit because I think the crew that she's working with isn't as experienced as what she maybe was used to in her earlier stuff.
Cynthia Rothrock just, I feel like she didn't get her due diligence and was kind of like subjected to these low budget movies. Not that there's anything wrong with low budget movies, but like she should be so much more famous.
Yeah, she should
than
be more
fucking
well
Chuck
known.
Norris.
Yeah.
Are you kidding me? It's just crazy because you can't even use the argument, like the shitty sexist argument of like, well, she wasn't competing against men. Guess what she was? And she beat them. So fuck you. So there wasn't a Wikipedia about this movie. But there was a blog that I found. Was amazing and life-changing to stumble across this blog. Okay, so this blog, Bleeding Skull, is amazing. And the person who wrote this is Joseph Zimba. Sounds like Zima. A great quality drink. I'm sure I'm saying his name wrong. I'm sorry. I learned a lot about this movie and about Cynthia Rothrock from this specific blog. It just does a great summary of this movie. If you like haven't seen it yet and are like me and like to ruin movies for yourself, I mean, you're here listening to this review, so you're ruining it for yourself. So go read this blog. Go to bleedingskull.com and read their review on Angel of Fury. But so during the filming of Yes Madam, she tore a ligament in her knee, but her quads and her hamstrings were so tough that her kneecap was held in place without a ligament. Fucking wild. Could Chuck Norris ever do that? No. He would get a bruise on his knee and probably cry and shut the set down.
Should we try to, I guess,
summarize
this movie? To be honest, that's going to be hard for me.
That's why I found myself on this blog, because it's hard to follow along.
Yeah. Those 20 minutes, I wonder if they had a lot of story in them, because the movie goes between action sequences so fast that it's very hard to keep things straight. I don't really know who is who in it. It's hard. But essentially, Cynthia Rothrock, I think her name is like Nancy Bolin or something like that. She's the only character name that I know, because everyone else, I didn't catch it. She is a head of some security company or some shit. I don't know. But Indonesia is trying to like bring in some supercomputer.
She's been hired to deliver a top secret computer.
Okay. I don't really know who she's delivering the top secret computer to. I don't really know what the top secret computer does. At one point she says that it explodes, so is it a bomb? I don't really know. What I do know is that there is a guy who looks like a C-grade Sylvester Stallone with weird ears, and he is a terrorist, I think, and he wants the computer. I don't know why.
He's a computer smuggler.
Computer smuggler.
His name is Bolt.
His name is Bolt. Okay, so that explains some things, because every once in a while someone would say Bolt, and I thought that was Cynthia Rothrock's last name.
Oh,
and so I was getting that messed up.
That could definitely throw a wrench in things.
But again, computer smuggler, what does that mean? We don't know.
Who knows?
Who knows?
Wild.
Constantly, the movie is just Cynthia Rothrock trying to get this computer into the country, and Bolt trying to steal it, and pretty much he does every time. And I think like there's 3 computers, 2 are a decoy, 1 is real. And I think Cynthia Rothrock is able to get the real one in, but they have to like trade it at the end because she gets captured. I'm all over the place. It was very hard to follow, which is why I was reading this blog and like trying to like find stuff out about it. I went to IMDb first when I saw there was no Wikipedia and read someone's fanboy review of it, which didn't clear anything up other than he like as a huge boner for Cynthia Rothrock. Boner alert! Which I'm not hating on. I love the nerds that like these type of women because I married one and they're very respectful of women and they like aggressive women, and that's just the best type of, if you are gonna have a man around, if you have to, the ones that like aggressive women are the best to be around. So yeah, I'm not shitting on that review, but it was just him being like, she's a beautiful princess. Wow. Boner alert. No, he knew a lot about her and was very excited to review it, and that's great. I should have been watching the movie rather than sitting on my phone trying to find out spoilers for the movie, but I really, as soon as we started watching it, I was like, I don't know what's happening. I'm overwhelmed. The ADR is so bad. It's throwing me off. It's glaringly bad.
It's really bad.
You did pretty good for a dead man. Oh boy.
I would pop in and check on some things. But Cullen's like, he's studious when we're watching these movies, and for him to not get it is saying something. It's hard to follow. It is.
Yeah, as far as plot goes, there's not really a whole lot to mention. There's a computer. People want the computer. There's fights.
There's fights. There's a guy who looks like Mr. T.
There's a guy who looks like an
funny.
Indonesian Mr. T.
Yeah.
Miss Boland.
Permit me to introduce you to Ty.
They definitely modeled him after.
For sure.
He was
It's
a
on
Model
purpose.
T.
He was a Model T, for sure.
Yeah.
She has a weird boyfriend who looks like Phil Collins.
Oh, he does. He looks exactly like Phil Collins. And she keeps having, like, sex fantasies about him when they're, like, on a date.
What are you thinking about?
It was like they were trying to put in a, like, gratuitous sex scene, but they were like, but she doesn't fuck. Because
Right.
she's a businesswoman. And she's all about business.
Is it like in Indonesia, like taboo to have a woman out of wedlock have sex or something? So maybe the way they got around it was that she's fantasizing, but they're not actually having sex.
But that could be it.
What makes that scene even more weird, though, is that's like right on the heels of a scene where she has a friend, a random girlfriend who has a young daughter. They don't really explain who they are or what their relationship is, other than they're friends, and they hang out a few times in the movie, just as like an interlude. And they're at the mall.
I feel like we're gonna get comments being like, they did explain it. And like somebody's gonna end up like
but it's hard to
stalking us
follow,
and killing
okay?
us.
The bad guys show up at the mall to attack Cynthia, and they end up kidnapping the little girl. Cynthia chases them on a motorcycle or like a motocross thing. Does a really weird like mid-air kick that doesn't make a whole lot of sense. But the end of that scene is a little girl gets shot in the back, and then immediately after is the sexual fantasy scene. So it's pretty weird.
Pretty weird. Bad timing.
Yeah. Speaking of flying through the air, that happens a lot in this movie.
Every 5 seconds she is blasting
Yeah.
through the air. Shooting through the air.
Yeah. Yeah, there's a lot of like run, jump, fly
Hold
through the
it.
air, kick.
Yeah.
That happens a lot.
So much. Yeah. And then the end scene. The final showdown.
Yeah, in the like warehouse scene,
Mm-hmm.
Cynthia Rothrock gets kidnapped, and there's a torture scene. Pretty much is exactly the scene from Lethal Weapon where Mel Gibson is like hung up and being like has a bunch of water poured on him.
I have a nerd fact about this.
Nerd facts. Wow.
These are facts, and facts don't care about your feelings.
So I have a nerd fact, and it is from that post, that thirst post on IMDb. And he says that she was warned about, like, not drinking the water in Indonesia. And why did I say that so weird? Indonesia. Doesn't matter.
It works.
Okay. She was warned about not drinking the water, and she succeeded the whole time until that torture scene. She got water in her mouth.
Well, Miss Boland. Looks like you're all washed up.
And she got, like, super sick.
Oh.
Which reminds me of Charlotte from Sex and the City when she gets a little bit of water in her mouth taking a shower, even though she's been so vigilant about it. And she shits her pants. Anyways, that was just a little Sex and the City throwback for you guys. So she's being tortured.
Mm-hmm. She's being tortured, and then her Phil Collins boyfriend shows up with the real computer. Again, we don't know what it does or why the computer smuggler wants it so bad. But they trade. But in the midst of the trade, there's a big showdown, and there's gunfighting and more martial arts stuff. We come to find out that her Phil Collins boyfriend It's triple cross, baby, because he was leaking stuff. I think, I don't know. Basically, he wants the computer too. I don't know how. I don't know.
He wants the computer.
He wants the computer
He's
too.
a computer smuggler too.
So she's
What a
got to fight
coinky-dink.
him, and there's a big fight in a helicopter.
There's a big fight in the helicopter. You know, she defeats Bolt, the bad guy.
Yeah. Bolt gets dead.
He gets dead. He gets done deaded. She defeats him, and then she's running after this guy, and she ends up. He's trying to fly away in a helicopter. She's like, bitch.
Nope.
She's climbing on that helicopter.
She
She
is.
fucking pulls herself up with her beefy little arms. And she climbs in that helicopter and beats the shit out of him.
That's
and the
right.
fight scene in the helicopter is pretty cool.
Yeah.
You'll be on the edge of your seat for sure.
Pay for the whole seat, but you'll only
Use the
the
edge. That is what they say.
That's what they
That's a
say.
saying that's been said before. Yeah, so she like beats the shit out of him and then just lands the plane and is like, whatever. And like the whole, what I assume is the Indonesian army is there, and they're like, hey,
Good job.
good job. She doesn't even look at them. She's just like, hello. Yeah.
She has an
I like to
iPhone.
order some DoorDash. She calls DoorDash.
Yeah. Yeah, and that's the movie.
That's the movie, baby.
It's pretty. As far as the whole making sense side of things, it doesn't do a whole lot of that.
It doesn't.
But as far as the being fun to watch a pretty cool lady beat up some dudes,
She carries the whole movie.
could you imagine now if there would be someone like her that could be in like a Wonder Woman, or like Atomic Blonde or something like that? I think the movies have risen up to her level. Now we need someone at her level to.
Yes.
Make it
Yeah,
happen.
which I mean, she's still alive and she could probably still
She
do
could
it.
probably fucking
so we need a 1980s Cynthia Rothrock with her same haircut that she had in this movie, the bowl cut, and the bowl cut mullet, the bullet. We
Yeah.
have to have it.
How about some Hot or Not?
Okay.
So yeah, Cynthia Rothrock.
She's the hottest person that we will ever review.
Yeah.
100%.
Yeah, I've got
I'm obsessed with her. She's amazing. Cynthia Rothrock is a 10 out of 10 on every single level. Every level. Everything you could judge a person on, she's a 10 out of 10.
She's got it all.
She's got it all, baby.
What about C-grade Sylvester Stallone Bolt?
Oh, no.
He's so
Disgusting.
gross.
He's really gross looking. Yeah. Ugh.
Yeah, there's just something off about him.
There's not something
He's
not good.
He's not only just like a thumbhead, like
Turturoni, evil
Turturoni.
villain.
There's just something off about his whole situation.
Yeah, he's not very aesthetically pleasing.
No. So lastly, let's do Phil Collins.
Okay, Phil Collins.
Old Phil. The thing I'll say about Phil is that it's extremely disappointing that he's the person they picked for Cynthia Rothrock to be sexually attracted to in this movie.
Which makes me laugh because this is Phil Collins' biggest fan, and I'm truly not kidding.
Oh, if it was the real Phil Collins, it would make perfect sense to me.
Our first fight within like a week of us dating was, I don't like 80s Phil Collins. It's embarrassing to listen to.
See, we're
I
gonna get
can't
in another
dance.
fight.
They'll pull up I Can't Dance the music video to like piss me off. And then everybody ends up getting embarrassed, including you, including Zach. It's so embarrassing.
Yeah, embarrassed
80s
of you and your terrible reaction to a classic song and classic person and classic music video.
No.
She's wrong.
80s
That
Phil
is-
Collins is embarrassing, okay?
No, it's not.
And
It's great.
I'm sad to say that, yeah, I started liking 80s Phil Collins a little bit. Some of the songs
Our bangers.
are bangers. We sing some of the songs at karaoke.
Yeah.
Easy Lover is a hit
Is
that we
awesome.
like to sing.
Such a good song.
Yeah.
So if it was the real Phil Collins, great. Perfect. Don't change a single thing. But
More
it's not.
sex scenes.
More 10 more sex scenes. But it's not. It's a fake Aldi Phil Collins.
Yeah, I mean, I have to say not, because that's a gross look. That 80s, like, businessman.
Yeah, in the sex scene, or at least the, like, fantasy scene, he's touching on her face.
I blacked that out.
In the weirdest ways.
He's not touching on her face in the weirdest ways. He's grabbing her face and doing the weird porn thing where he's, like, shoving his fingers, like, into her mouth and, like pushing on her head, and she's just, like...
Yeah, you can tell there's a look in her face that's, like...
You can
pissed.
tell she's pissed off.
And you can tell she's like, professional Cynthia, wait till the director says cut, and then whoop this motherfucker's ass.
And I bet she fucking did. She keeps trying to, like, wiggle her head away.
Yeah.
I know that look because, like, you know, we've all been there when somebody does something we don't like, but we don't want to kill the mood, so you just kind of, like, wiggle out of it. And that's what she was doing. She was
said
like...
that it was okay if I played Phil Collins. What about a rating for the Angels of Furies?
If it was specifically Cynthia Rothrock, it would be a 10, obviously. I've already rated her a 10 out of 10 on all fronts. If it was just this movie without her, it would be...
Full on 0.
I would say 2, just because there is a lot of action to keep you...
Yeah, that's true.
Like, preoccupied, and, like, shooting a kid in the back is a pretty bold choice, which makes me laugh that, like, it's a choice that they made.
Yeah.
So I guess mashing those together, since she's a 10 out of 10, that was a 2, I'll deduct 2 points from her and say that I'm going to say this movie is an 8, which sounds crazy, but you can't rate a Cynthia Rothrock movie below, I feel like, a 6, just because...
Yeah.
She's
awesome.
She's awesome. It doesn't matter what she did. She would be incredible.
This is going to be a very rare occasion where we review an action movie and I give it a lower rating than you do. But I totally agree with everything you said, but I have to deduct an extra point because knowing how good her early work is, and then how kind of like the action is amazing in this, but it is like a little bit slower because you can tell she's holding back a little bit. And I'd be really interested to see the full length movie because we only saw like a 77-minute cut of like a 95-minute long movie. But I'm gonna give it a 7 out of 10.
Great, 7 out of 10. So like a 7.5 out of 10 is our final rating.
Yeah.
Okay. I can live with that. I can live with that.
I'd definitely say for sure check it out. And again, it's only 77 minutes. So even though it doesn't make any sense, it's a pretty terrible movie, you're going to blast right through it. You're going to blast right through this thing.
You're going to cruise all through this thing.
Yeah. So we said this last time, and I guess you guys weren't listening, but make sure you fucking subscribe. And
subscribe and like it. Comment, and make sure they're nice comments.
Make sure they're nice comments. And if you're watching this on IGTV, then follow our Instagram at VHS Action Rewind.
Yeah.
Let us know what we should watch next, too. I mean, come on. This is hard.
It's very
we need
tough.
some help. Well, let's sign off like we always do.
Hey,
guys. Cynthia. Cynthia Rothwell is a total kung fu babe. So, watch this movie!
Do you think I'm gonna get copyrighted by the Vega Boys for doing it twice in a row now?
Shut it down! I saw it! Hey, Vega number 2, this is Vega number 1. We're shutting this shit down.
The old man from the Six Flags commercial comes and like beats the shit out of him. Okay, bye guys.